According to recent intelligence from Russia, Japan is positioned to assemble a fully functional nuclear weapon. They could do it in exactly 1 year. If that timeline holds true, it represents a staggering reversal of history. Out of all the countries on Earth, Japan remains the only nation to ever suffer an atomic bombing. The devastating toll of Hiroshima and Nagasaki forged a deeply entrenched culture of pacifism. For 80 years, Japanese citizens, especially the older generations who remember the fallout, have fiercely protested any move toward nuclear armament. But public opinion is fracturing. Japan's defense establishment, along with a younger generation detached from the trauma of World War II, increasingly views a powerful nuclear deterrent as a modern necessity. Tokyo's shift is a response to the breakdown of regional security alliances. With their traditional safety nets fraying, Japanese leaders are beginning to view independent deterrence as a pragmatic requirement for survival. The main catalyst for this shift sits just across the Sea of Japan. North Korea has rapidly advanced its intercontinental ballistic missile program, building weapons explicitly designed for massive reach. This map illustrates the core problem for Tokyo. Pyongyang has crossed a critical threshold by engineering delivery systems whose range easily reaches the U.S. mainland. For decades, Japan and South Korea have relied on the nuclear umbrella, the guarantee that the United States would retaliate on their behalf against any foreign attack. That guarantee is now under extreme pressure. If American forces defend Tokyo, they face the threat of a retaliatory North Korean nuclear strike on a major American city like Los Angeles. Japan and South Korea are both confronting the same geopolitical reality. The United States may hesitate to sacrifice millions of its own citizens to honor an overseas defense treaty. Because they are suddenly feeling exposed, Japan's status as a turnkey state becomes highly relevant. This describes a nation that possesses the raw materials, the engineering talent, and the infrastructure to build a nuclear bomb, but simply hasn't made the political choice to do so. Japan's massive civil nuclear energy program provides exactly that capability. With multiple large-scale power plants and a deep understanding of nuclear physics, the technical path from civilian power to military armament is remarkably short. Compare this latent capability to a nation like Iran, which is actively trying to cross that same threshold. The United States maintains a clear policy of using military force to ensure an Iranian bomb is never completed. However, geopolitical responses are rarely uniform. Because Japan is a steadfast democratic ally, Washington and other Western capitals may choose to tolerate a Japanese nuclear program rather than attempting to dismantle it by force. Technically, the path to a weapon is open. The question now rests on whether the growing threat from North Korea will eventually outweigh the deep-seated pacifism that has defined Japan for 3 generations. If Japan officially moves to assemble a warhead, the regional backlash will be immediate. Adversaries like China and Russia would likely respond with direct military pressure, seeking to encircle and isolate the islands. The immediate flashpoint would likely be the Kuril Islands. Vladimir Putin could leverage this occupied territory to push Russian naval assets right up against Japanese waters, maximizing pressure on Tokyo. The fallout would reach beyond the Pacific. Japan would likely expect its partners, including strategically neutral nations like India, to choose a side, demanding they sever their own defense and economic ties with Moscow. By reaching for a nuclear deterrent, Japan would accept a period of intense regional conflict and diplomatic isolation long before that weapon could provide any actual security. This map highlights the current global nuclear landscape. North and South America remain relatively stable, containing only a single nuclear power. Across the Pacific, the map looks different. Asia is already home to 6 nuclear-armed states, many of which share contested borders and long histories of conflict. Adding Japan and South Korea to this list would create a densely packed web of rival nuclear nations, all competing for dominance in the same geographic region. Traditional models of deterrence fail when adversaries are this close. With missile flight times measured in minutes, the margin for diplomatic error or accidental escalation disappears. By prioritizing independent nuclear strength, Japan would move away from the security provided by U.S. alliances. stability in the region would then rely on a complex, localized balance of nuclear power rather than superpower protection.
If you value clarity over chaos, explore more on Clear Lens X.